America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we'll consider adjustments to an approval of tonight's agenda. Are there any adjustments? No adjustments? Is there a motion?
Make a motion, we accept the agenda as written.
Motion by Commissioner Tovey. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Opening remarks by our city clerk.
In order to provide for the highest standards of behavior and transparency in governance, the Board of Commissioners has approved a code of ethics to establish guidelines for ethical standards for board members and to provide guidance in determining appropriate conduct. Among those, board members should avoid impropriety in the exercise of their official duties and should conduct the affairs of the board in an open and public manner. The mayor now inquires whether any board member knows of any conflict of interest or appearance of conflict with respect to matters before the board. If any board member knows of a conflict of interest or the appearance of a conflict, please let them state so at this time. Let the record note, no conflicts.
Thank you. At this time, we have 4 proclamations we're going to do today. And one update by the city manager and system developments. The first proclamation is the fire safety. We followed by the breast cancer. The third one will be Veterans Day, and then there'll be one honoring the Chamber of Commerce Day.
We'll do it from here or okay. Watch your stare. That's funny. I certainly appreciate the mayor allowing me to do this proclamation for a couple of reasons, and I'm not going to stand with my back to you. You know, the fire department arrived at my home a few months ago because my wife was doing something on the toaster and something caught a fire. And she said that the fire chiefs and other folks arrived and they gave her a lesson on how she should conduct herself in the kitchen to prevent fires. And she never forgot that, and she appreciated the way y'all talked to her and explained to her the risks of having a whole lot of paper around a toaster. And I kid with her about that every once in a while, but you know, Fire Chief, you know, you've been to my office, and you made me get rid of those little heaters I had, and told me I had to get oil heaters. So I appreciate that because, you know, I didn't think that an oil heater was safer than, you know, a heater that has the little railings on them that give off a lot of heat. So I appreciate all of that. So let me get started with the proclamation. It says, whereas the great fire of Rome in 64 AD that destroyed 70% of the city, initiated from Emperor Nero a redesign of the city with the emphasis on fire safety. And whereas Fire Prevention Month is observed every October because it commemorates the anniversary of the Great Chicago Fire in 1871, which burned from October 8th through October 10th. The events devastated led to the creation of more stringent fire codes, public safety, awareness campaigns, and prevented future fires and educated the public on fire safety and preparedness. And whereas our nation has seen staggering costs and loss of life due to poor fire prevention and disaster preparedness in recent years, and whereas during the Fire Safety Month, we called on every household and business to prioritize fire prevention by taking measures that reduce the risk of fire-related incidents by installing smoke detectors, having fully charged fire extinguishers, encouraging fire inspections, and participating in fire safety training. And whereas we honor the courage and dedication of firefighters and first responders of our city who protect our lives, property, natural resources from the devastation of a fire. And whereas this month we offer our sincere thanks to all of the dedicated firefighters, first responders who do not flinch, and I mean this, in times of crisis without regard for their own safety, they rush headlong into danger to save people, to save pets and property. Now, therefore, I, Guillermo Nurse, Mayor of the City of Oxford, North Carolina, along with the Oxford Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim October 25th as Fire Safety Month. I encourage all citizens of Oxford to recognize the courage and sacrifice of these brave men and women. The best way to honor our firefighters is to prevent the need to respond to the fire emergencies by preventing them from occurring. Whereas, and in witness whereof, whereas I hereto set my hand and cause the seal of the Oxford, North Carolina, to be affixed this, the 14th day of October, 2025. That's the proclamation. Come on up, Chief. And you know, I have one question. Why, when we have fires that burn, you know, hundreds and hundreds of acres of woods and all those terrible fires in California where houses were burned, why can't we stop those kind of fires? I'm just curious about that.
Well, the educational piece is out there, but prevention's not. So you gotta think about the topography, you know, fire burns up and out. Plus, if you don't clean around your house and give you a buffer zone, it's gonna allow the fire to approach your house and catch your house on fire. So they've been advised to clean out to certain distances and grow certain plants and be resistant, but not everybody does it, so.
Yeah, so just so much damage, so much death. You know, I'm always curious about that. Why we can't send 100 planes in there with a bunch of water and get rid of the fire?
I mean, they generate their own wind as well, so.
Right. Okay. I'm
Chief,
done.
I'd like to say something. If you want to see a well-organized, functioning entity, go to the fire department. They start at 6, 7 in the morning. There's inspection of every piece of equipment down there. Every piece of equipment, detailed. I sit and watch these guys over and over. And they all work like clockwork. You see things happen in the city, you see events in the city. I just came from ABC Village down there on the Loop. They were very happy that you guys were down there with the truck last week. Every detail. And these guys save us a lot of money. Every repair in that fire department is done in-house. I don't think I've ever seen somebody that's working down there other than you and your guys, and I'm really proud of you. And I want to say this, we have in front of a request. We got a request because we have a lot of fire departments in the nation that trains foreign nations. We have a request from Panama. We've been looking at it for the last year or so, 6 months, that they requested to get trained up here by the #1 fire chief in the region. And I'm not saying that for kidding. He trains just about every fire department in the area. And I think I have another request from Costa Rica. So I had an email came in a couple weeks ago, but I want us to go through that. So I want to say thank you very much, Chief, for all that you do. Thank you.
That is the shoulder blade. That is shoulder blade.
Good evening.
Good.
I'm glad Commissioner Bridges turned the mic because I had said I was not going to turn my back on the audience. I'm here to do a proclamation in recognition of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the month of October. And before I read it, I'm sure everyone in here has known someone who has gone through this devastating disease. I wear my pin in honor of my daughter being 13 years cancer-free. Whereas 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. Whereas breast cancer awareness gained national attention in 1974 when First Lady Betty Ford and medical journalist Rose Kirshner was diagnosed with breast cancer and wrote several books in honor that affected changes in the laws and medical practice related to breast cancer, and originated in 1970 with activists such as Rose Kirshner and Betty Ford, who were diagnosed with breast cancer. And whereas in 1985, the American Cancer Society and Imperial Chemical Industries, ICI, collaborated to establish the first National Breast Cancer Awareness Week in October. This campaign was expanded to a month-long event in 1992. And whereas First Lady Betty Ford kicked off the event and was open about her own diagnosis, which led to many women getting screening, and whereas the pink ribbon, now a widely recognized symbol of breast cancer awareness, was introduced in 1992 by Estee Lauder, and whereas the lights in the city of Oxford would display the color pink for most of the month of October in honor of those who have been affected by breast cancer. Whereas in 1993, the Susan G. Komen Foundation became a major sponsor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, further expanding its reach and impact. And whereas Breast Cancer Awareness Month has raised significant funds for breast cancer research and support programs. It has increased public awareness of breast cancer, leading to early detection, improved survival rates. And whereas being aware of health information, education, treatment, and support methods available can help individuals find and receive the appropriate care and resources they need to improve the quality of their life. Now, I therefore, Guillermo Nurse, Mayor of the City of Oxford, North Carolina, along with the Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim October 2025 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We encourage routine mammogram screening and follow-up testing. This disease can be detected early when it can be most effectively treated and save lives. In witness, therefore, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of Oxford, North Carolina, to be affixed this, the 14th day of October, 2025. And I think that either should receive a round of applause or a stand of praise.
Good evening again. This is a proclamation honoring nation veterans. I see I have 1, 2, 3, 4 veterans, well, 5 in the house. Is there any other veteran? I see
Excuse
Mr. McCoy. Oh, I'm sorry. I do it again. 6. Sorry. Mayor Pro Tem. Sorry. Just do it again. Mayor Pro Tem, Mr. McCoy, Mr. Compton, Mr. Crawford, Commissioner McCray, no more other veterans here, and myself. Thank you. City of Oxford, North Carolina, proclamation honoring nation veterans. Whereas in 1776, Continental Congress, by issuing a Declaration of Independence, proclaimed the 13 colonies that separated from the United Kingdom, establishing the United States of America. And whereas the Continental Army, established on June 14, 1775, and the Continental Navy on October 13, 1775, and the Marines on November 10, 1775, to fight against the British during the American Revolutionary War, and evolved to become a United States Army. And whereas the branches of the military expanded to include Coast Guard, along with support contributions of the Merchant Marines, established January 28, 1915. The Air Force, September 18, 1947, and the Space Force established December 20, 2019. And whereas the military has been called to liberate nations, defeat tyranny, secure freedom at home and abroad. Whereas their combat service included the American Revolutionary War of 1812, Mexican-American War, Civil War, Spanish-American War, World War I and II, Korean War, Vietnam, the Cold War, Desert Storm, and the War on Terror, and numerous other engagements, conflicts, and humanitarian mission. And whereas at the 11th hour of the 11th day, on the 11th month, 1918, all combatants during World War I agreed to an armistice ceasing hostile of World War I. And whereas in 1919, President Wilson observed the first Armistice Day by expressing gratitude for the service of those in World War I on behalf of the American people. And whereas in 1938, a congressional act established Armistice Day as a national holiday, and in 1954, Congress amended that act to include honoring all veterans. And whereas veterans have served since 1789 to defend the rights of Americans afforded to us in the U.S. Constitution, including freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, exercise religious beliefs, and free press, right to choose their leaders, due process to bear arms, among others. And whereas in the defense of liberty, many veterans sustained life-altering physical injuries and disabilities, others bear the burden of emotional scars from the remainder of their life, and still others made the ultimate sacrifice, their lives. And whereas when honoring the veterans, we should not forget that their sacrifices also include forsaking time with their families, time that they can never get back, missing milestones in life, like seeing children born, missing birthdays, anniversaries, etc. All things veterans and their families forego to keep America safe. And whereas, in the words of former chairman of Joint Chief of Staff, the soldier's heart, the soldier's spirit, the soldier's soul are everything. Whereas the brave man and woman know better than anyone else the price of freedom. They represent the best of America by demonstrating its traits of honor, bravery, and integrity, protect and serve as citizens. Now, therefore, I, Guillermo Nurse, Mayor of the City of Oxford, along with the Board of Commissioners, do hereby call on all citizens to reflect on the sacrifice of those who preserve our way of life. Veterans are worthy of a solemn tribute to grateful nation, not only on Veterans Day, but every day. In witness whereof, I have hereon to set my hand and cause the City of Oxford, North Carolina, to be affixed to this 14th day of October 2025. Again, thank you all the veterans we all serve, and thank all the families that that supports us. And if you've ever been in the military, you know certain times you get cookies and the big things coming shipped to you overseas when you're overseas. So thank you all to all the veterans that serve.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
That was real weak. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Much better, much better. I'll be recognizing the Chamber of Commerce Day. Whereas the Granville County Chamber of Commerce was incorporated on April 19, 1942, and has continuously served the businesses and citizens of Granville County for more than 8 decades. And whereas the Chamber currently represents more than 360 members across Granville County and surrounding areas, serving as a vital resource for local businesses and a catalyst for economic growth. And whereas the Granville County Chamber of Commerce is a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting local businesses, promoting economic development, and fostering a strong sense of community. And whereas the Chamber provides advocacy, tools, and resources that help businesses succeed while also enhancing visibility through marketing, events, and networking opportunities. And whereas the Chamber's mission is to help businesses thrive and to make Granville County a great place to live, work, and do business. And whereas the City of Oxford recognizes and celebrates the Chamber's continued leadership, dedication, and positive impact on our community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Guillermo Nurse, Mayor of the City of Oxford, do hereby proclaim October 15, 2025 as Chamber of Commerce Day in the City of Oxford, and encourage all citizens to join in recognizing the Granville County Chamber of Commerce for its outstanding service and contributions to the prosperity of our community. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Oxford to be affixed on this 15th day of October, 2025.
We've noticed a big change in the Chamber of Commerce. There's a lot of activities, the office around. They are just about in every event we have. And thank you, ladies, for what you do. The city needs your help, and we've got it. And not just the city, the county. So we want to say thank you all. The city of Oxford wants to recognize you on this day.
Thank you.
The ladies are all over it. Every event, they're every business daily trying to get everything going right. Thank you very much. At this time, we go to the next item on the agenda is update by the city manager on system development fees.
Well, unlike the commissioners and the mayor, I don't get to do any fun stuff like acknowledge or celebrate someone's work. So I get the dull stuff every day. But they were going to talk about the system development fees and where we are with that. I know many of you probably were not on the board when we last updated the system development fee. That development fee is required every 5 years. We've been working on it a little over a year now. We were scheduled to try to have it out in April, but it's taking a little bit longer because if you don't know, we're part of the Carl Lake Regional Water System, and they were having a reevaluation of their plant and those for that system, and those numbers were important. into developing our own fee. So that's why we're now at a point where we can bring this up. All right, so what is a system development fee? It's a one-time charge for an assessment by a water sewer authority or governmental unit, in this case, City of Oxford, with respect to new development, to fund costs, capital improvements necessitated by and attributed to such new development, to recoup costs of existing facilities which serve such new development, and to recoup costs incurred by local government to purchase capacity in or reserve capacity supplied by capital improvements or facilities owned by another government unit. So in our case, it's us and what our expenses and things that we're going to be looking forward to in the future. All right, what are some of the key requirements? And when I talk about key requirements, these are mandated by the state legislation, section 162, section 8. The fee must be determined and prepared by a financial professional or licensed professional engineer, qualified by experience in training or education. So what that means is I'm not putting it together. Commissioners aren't putting it together. Our finance directors have put it together. Somebody with those qualifications are putting this fee together. Documents in reasonable detail that the facts and data used in the analysis and their sufficiency and reliability. So basically, the report that I'm going to mention shortly, those things are there to support how the fee has gotten to where or what it would be recommended. Employees general accepted accounting, engineering, and planning methodologies, including buy-in, incremental cost or marginal cost, and combined cost methods for each service, setting forth the appropriate analysis to the consideration and selection of the appropriate approach and to circumstances adopted as necessary to satisfy all requirements of Article 8. So basically, it's saying we're not doing this on the fly. There are generally accepted procedures and all those disciplines there that are used in determining that. And then consider a planning horizon not less than 5 years, no more than 20 years. So basically, you don't want your plan to be too short, but you don't want it necessarily to be too long either. So that's kind of what the medium balance there is. Documents that demonstrate reliable application of the methodologies to the facts and data, including all reasoning analysis and interim calculations and underlying each identifiable component, system development fee, and the aggregate thereof. Identify all assumptions and limiting conditions affecting the analysis and demonstrate that they do not materially undermine the reliability and conclusions that are reached. That's to give you the insight of how we got to where we're getting to this recommendation. Calculate a final development fee per service unit of new development and include equivalency or conversion table uses in determining the fees applicable for various charges, and use the per gallon day service unit that local governments applies to its water service system engineering for planning purposes, water sewer, calculating development fees. What that means is basically DEQ basically says this is what you should allocate really per bedroom when you're considering new development before we use planning to determine what our needs are going to be in the future. And they say if you're using that to determine what your needs are going to be, that also applies to the fee that you should charge. So it used to be 360 gallons per 3-bedroom unit. That was changed last year to 225, so we'll see that later. But just to simplify all of what it just said, it's calculated based on existing or planned infrastructure that is either in place or will be constructed to serve new capacity demands or the existing additional capacity associated with these assets. That's about as simple as you can summarize all that. Okay, it does not include,
Drainage.
when figuring this out, administrative time, engineering time, inspection costs, none of that's included in the terminal fee. Tap or hookup charges are not included in that, and that's why you see a tap fee in addition to that. So these things are not included in this. So what did we do? We hired Ralph Tellis Consulting Firm. They have over 30 years of utility consulting experience. They performed work for over 600 organizations last year. What was important for us is that they have a good understanding of our system, our prior experiences with us, and that included also setting up our current rate structure. So again, we had an outside firm to look at our current water rates, our future water rates, as well as this development fee. So they were tasked simply to calculate, justify the water system development fees and use common industry practices and standards when doing so. All right, the methodologies. Capacity buy-in method, this is a fee calculated based on proportional cost of each user's share of the existing capacity. Incremental is fee based on new customers, proportional share for incremental future cost of the system capacity. And then the combined method is, let's say, blending the two of those. All right, what the report will show is that the current charge per gallon is roughly $3.94. The new would be $8.44. So you can see $6, and then $10.02. And the ER is what I mentioned before is the gallon capacity per unit. So what does that really mean? I'm not going to read all these. I'm just only going to read the first one because that's what's mostly affected by what's going on in the city. And so you would see the recommended change for system development for water would be $1,181 to $1,900. The sewer would be $1,800 to $2,256. Then you see what that combined, because that's usually how it works, is that you get water and sewer at the same time. $2,981 to $4,056. Again, that's what is paid for new units. You already got a house, you're already getting services, you know, baby. This is all for new construction. So I think y'all probably know that, but just wanted to be sure. So the first one's the most effective. So what are your options? Commissioners, your options are very simple, straightforward. State law prohibits you from approving a fee higher than this recommendation. Okay. You can't do that. You can adopt the recommendation. You can keep the fee as it currently is. You can establish a fee that's higher than what we got, or less than what's recommended. Or if you're really generous, you can reduce the current fee if you want to. But those are your options. Okay. The next steps, I would anticipate first of next week, we will post this report. And this report is roughly about 15 to 20 pages. It gives all the detail of what we just talked about. And you have a minimum of 45 days to review it. You'll have the ability to provide written comment. And the reason for written comment is so that it will be easier for us to send back to the preparer of this recommendation. You can do it verbally, but written is better. All right, so then after that, you'll conduct a public hearing based on the report and any adjustments or revisions. Then you will adopt the plan, set the fee. The fee will be adopted each year as part of the annual budget. And then 5 years from when it's adopted, we'll do it all over. So that's where we are. And if you have questions, I'll answer them.
I've got a question. I've always got a question. These recommended fees for new construction, right? But what happens if you've got a new construction within an older development, like infill? Infill, do they charge the newer fee?
We do for, no, if you're not there, it's like it's a blank piece of property, yes, but if not, then you go back to.
So,
Yes, thank you.
what could be happening is the neighbor that's been there for 20 years, either side, could be paying a lot less than the new house that will be built on the infill.
Well, the new unit will be taking up capacity, so they'll get to pay capacity, ability to get.
Right.
But now your rates will be like everybody else.
All right.
This is a one-time
So one time-
One-time
One-time fee,
fee
yeah.
for new build.
I have a question. And I promise you, I'm not making this up. I was talking to some constituents and, trying to convince them to vote for me again. And the question to me was, Commissioner Bridges, as you stand right there before me, are you confident with the development that the city is doing, that there is sufficient water capacity to handle the developments that y'all have been doing, and you can also handle the sewage? The question was to me, am I confident, as a commissioner, that we have no worries about capacity, water capacity and sewage with all of the development we got going on? And I hesitated. I said, I'm not sure that I can be confident 100%. Does this help with that, Mr. Manager? In terms of what you've talked about just now, the systems development fee, or the systems development analysis, does that deal with the city's ability to handle future water capacity needs?
First, I would say you could go back to that constituent and say, yes, we can handle that with confidence. What this system development fee does is that it's a mechanism to pay for those costs associated with that. So it's a step toward growth, paying for growth.
Okay. All right. I don't know what to say next time.
Any more questions for Mr. Taylor? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
This time we move to public comments.
Citizens may speak on agenda as well as non-agenda items at this time. Citizens wishing to address the board should register their name, address, and the subject they wish to address with me prior to the beginning of the meeting. In an effort to maintain order and decorum, we would encourage speakers to be courteous and respectful during this portion of the meeting in which citizen input is heard. Please refrain from profanity, inappropriate gestures, insults, personal attacks, or accusations, and each presentator will be limited to 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bowen. At this time, we only have one registered, and that's Mr. Larry Thomas, LT.
I was going to talk on Mary Potter School and what I believe to be its permanent closing. I think it's some things that y'all need to consider with the closing of that school. Short term, I think you need to look at the fact that vacant buildings on large isolated tracts brings problems with crime, squatters, etc., and that you have a surrounding historical neighborhood that you need to look at. Need to be thinking about. I'm pretty sure these problems are going to come up, so I'm sure the police have already started to think about it, but I just wanted to say it. Long term, you need to look at your city, the vision of the city for the track, and to repeat myself, saving the adjacent historical neighborhood, keep the character of that. You need to look at what is the proper zoning to achieve this vision. You need to work with the county to achieve this vision. Potential usages, to me, the number one usage would be county government, the building office complexes there, consolidate their building, expand their courthouse. Second thing might be public works. As the city grows, it's going to need to be relocated. Consider locating public works there. Turn it into a park. You may want to consider residential and commercial expansion of the downtown area. That's going to happen. I know there's a lot of vacant lots and storefronts and all that, but eventually they're going to fill up and you're going to need some overflow. You can use the jumping off spot as the current comprehensive plan. There are citations about downtown developments that were approved in, I think, 2023 in 5 sections. And you also need, this would be a good time to look at revising the entire comprehensive plan. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thomas.
I was surprised you didn't say anything about recreation.
Yeah. So,
You did.
You didn't say swimming pool. Okay, all right.
Item 4 on the agenda, public hearing and city business. Citizens may only speak on public hearings items at this time. Please review the citizen comment guidelines that the city clerk provides. 4.1, hold a public hearing to receive citizen input on rezoning request by John Lee, current owners of 42 plus acres, 3 parcels. With that, public hearings are open. Item 4.2.
Anyone wish to speak?
Okay, yeah,
Any comment? Anyone? wish to-
you're right. Any comments on this public hearing? I'll repeat again, hold a public hearing to receive citizen input on a rezoning request by John Lee Curran, owners of 43 plus acres, 3 parcel on the Nobbin Road and Industry Drive. Any comment over here? Let's see, Mr. Compton has a comment.
Ed Compton, 213 Main Street.
Could you turn it over?
Hi, Ed Compton, 213 Main Street. My thoughts are, in reading the agenda for the meeting, it looks like they're hoping to make it into a residential zoning rather than what it is currently. My first impulsive thought is that I wish this would have happened about 6 months or a year ago, before some of the annexation of properties that are not contiguous to the city happened, because that area over there, I think, would be ideal for some of the projects that we're looking at doing outside of the area of the city, out into the and recently annexed properties. I would consider some of the property owners over there friends of mine, but still, depending on what's planned, there's just so much that we can do. I think there's enough on our slate already as a city and development. I just wish that area would have happened before the previous areas. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the room? Anyone left? Is anyone from the league current owners here today? Thank you, sir. You may come up.
My name's Charles Knott. I'm cousin to the Curran family. I currently farm that entire block, theirs and mine. And they just were wanting the zoning return back to AR 40. They were unaware that it was industrial park, and it's been farmed my entire life, and they don't have any real reason to have it changed. And, they want it to stay a farm. All the land out there is farmland. We have records of it. My farming it for 40 years plus. So, that was the only thing. We don't just want to, have the zoning back to AR 40. That's all.
Thank you,
Thank
sir. I think I did speak to the owner when she was here, and she said she just wanted to rezone it. She did not have any intention of anything at the time. Commissioner Toby.
I see they just want to rezone it to residential agriculture.
Right.
So you can either have a home there and farm it, as Mr. Noblin said. So there's no plans for development or anything like that. It's purely just to rezone it away from industrial.
It's within their rights if they want to
Right.
it's rezoned, but
Well,
they
yeah, it's within their
explained that she did not want to do
No.
any development there.
I've got no problem with that.
Any other comments on this project? Item 4.2, consider approving a rezoning request by John. With no other comments, no other speaker, the public hearing is not closed. 4.2, consider approving a rezoning request by John and Lee Curran, owners of 42 acres, 3 parcels off the Noblin Road and Industry Drive. The owners are requesting rezone parcel 1, 2, 4, and all these numbers from industrial park to residential agriculture. From highway business to residential agriculture, there's 3 parcels and there's a whole bunch of numbers, and I'm not going to read all those numbers. Staff recommends approving the rezoning request. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Toby. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Velez. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 4.3 is consider adopting the mobile food vendor ordinance. Okay. The staff recommends adopting the mobile food vendor ordinance. Consider 4.4. Consider approving the condemnation. No, we're gonna standard food ordinance. This ordinance was here. We had a little discussion about the amount of days that was allowed. I think that was the option, and with the changes were made. And changes were made, I believe, to 7 days.
Yeah.
Mrs. Hart, 7 days is what it was changed to? That's the recommendation. 7 days, the maximum 30 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. So, is there any one would like to speak on behalf of this? Mr. Thomas.
I'm just looking for some clarification. The 7-day period, is that consecutive or is that total?
Consecutive.
Consecutive. Okay. And you talk about an annual fee, but you don't specify what it is. Do you have any idea what you're going to set the initial regulate annual fee at?
I don't think so. We haven't said that.
I think it says the fee may be amended annually as part of the city's annual budget. It didn't say it.
Yeah, I understand that,
Right.
but what number you
think
gonna start at?
75?
It says 75 for a 7-day
75.
permit, $200 for a 30-day permit.
I assumed that was my assumption was that if I want to sell something, I go down and I pay an annual fee of some undetermined amount.
$75.
Okay, 75. And then when I get ready to sell my stuff, I go back and get me a $75 permit for 7 days. Is that the intent?
I think that's the intent.
It is each permit for 7 days is $75.
Okay, so
So it's not an annual,
It's
it's not an
well,
annual.
it says in there, it says in the wording, it's an annual, there's some
You
sort
got
of
the-
annual
one of the
fee
old-
associated with this ordinance.
You've got
That's what I was
You
asking
want the old-
clarification.
I think what you're saying, Larry, is the permit should be valid for 1 year from the date of insurance and must be renewed annually. So
Yeah, 2.6, I think.
3.3 is what you're talking about.
3.3 is 2.6. Bunch of places that you talk about an annual regulatory fee. So my question is,
No, what you're talking about.
There's a
that last
permit.
sentence there is the fee structure itself may be amended as part of the annual budget. So they can change what they think they need time, but specifically part of the annual budget.
yeah, but I assume that if you pass the ordinance tonight, somebody's gonna wanna come and sell something on the street of Oxford. And what are you gonna tell them? You know, how much does it cost me to, it's 75 for 7 days. What about the annual fee? I mean, is there an annual fee or isn't
It
there?
says there.
It's a permit fee.
It says there is a permit fee.
Yeah, there's a permit fee, and
Permit,
there's an
an
annual.
annual permit fee.
Well, I think it's confusing to me.
I agree, it's a little confusing with that 3.2 up there. That looks
Yeah.
confusing.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
if some,
intent was for the fee to be $75.
that's the annual fee. it's supposed to be-
No, the permit fee, $75.
Okay.
And it could change on the budget.
I understand that.
And $200 for
What
30
my
days.
annual fee is if I want to pedal my.
Yeah, it looks a little ambiguous, I must admit, because it says an annual fee, a permit fee, and then if you want another $75 fee for a 7-day permit.
Right, so, what you're saying is in 3.2, it would help if there was a number. And if there's a number, there, you would need a number there, so you would know upfront,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to pay this annual.
Yeah, apparently you have some sort of fee structure.
Yeah, it seems like you just take out the word annual in there is probably the best thing.
Like I said, if that's y'all's decision, then I'm
Yes,
just
Well, their
confused.
decision.
The last thing I have that's confusing me is the city going to have somebody from their staff to do these inspections, or are you going to farm it out to somebody else? Thank you.
The inspections will be done by the appropriate personnel.
Yeah.
Whether it's in code enforcement or where it's the fire department, can know what type of business taking place.
Yeah, because the fire department does inspect when we have events, they inspect everything. Food trucks, everything they do, so I will send them. So do we want to,
I'd like to make a motion that we amend,
yes,
3.2 and just clarify the wording.
Yeah.
Just
Remove the
clarify the
word,
wording.
remove the word annual.
Just clarify the wording. And make that as a motion.
Second.
we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem. It was second by Commissioner Toby.
Is that to pass with,
That's to make the,
The amendment and remove the word annually.
yeah.
but it's to pass the amendment
And
and
I got
with
to-
the change in the wording.
No, no, you
Is that
can't,
how-
no,
It's just changing the word.
changing the word.
Right,
Now, you'll vote on the.
Whole amendment
The whole amendment.
later.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
that's what we're talking about, changing the word in.
Right, yeah, my motion is-
3.2.
Yeah.
Motion is to change the word in, second by Commissioner Toby. No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion change the amendment 3.2, change the wording. Now we go back to the original, which is consider approving it. No, staff recommend, here we go. Consider adopting the mobile food vendor ordinance. and the staff recommends adopting a mobile food vendor ordinance. We just made adjustments.
Mayor, I have a couple questions.
Me too.
So item or paragraph 2.5, I'd like to make a motion to remove the last sentence where it talks about fruit, merchandise, drink, and flowers. I would like to have it just say prepared food may be sold. I think the intent of the ordinance is food. And if you go to item 3.1, definition of food operators, 3.1D says types of food to be sold.
Yeah.
I think to keep with the spirit of the ordinance, I think we remove anything that does not mention, or that mentions something other than food.
So, Commissioner Lumpkins, you're requesting, basically saying, let's do a motion to amend that?
Correct. To strike
Yeah.
fruit, merchandise, drink, and flowers from paragraph 2.5.
Okay. So, we have a motion by Commissioner Lumpkins. Do we have a second on that?
I'll second that, man.
Second by Commissioner Velez.
I've just got a question before
Oh,
we
wait a
vote
minute.
on it.
We had a
It-
question
it-
by two persons. We had Mr. Bridges who wanted to say something, and let's go with Mr. Bridges, he requested first.
It seems to me, and maybe I don't understand, but $75 per permit seems expensive to me. Or am I?
It's true.
Now, because when somebody said an annual fee, I thought that was probably not enough. But every time a vendor gets a permit for 7 days, they got to pay $75. Is that not expensive?
Mm-mm. No. No. Since it makes $75 in probably 8 hours.
Well, if they make $75 in 8 hours, that's not a good day. If you had to pay $75 for the permit.
And that's seven hot dogs.
Oh, okay. Well,
Go ahead. You're right.
it just,
For a 7-day permit,
Right.
okay,
for a 7-day permit is
That's not-
$75.
Yeah, it's not.
okay.
Yeah, it's not.
7 to 30 days. That was what it
7
said,
to
right?
30.
7 to 30 days. You
Yeah.
have the minimum is 7,
Yeah.
right?
Maximum is 30.
Maximum is 30.
It could
for
be-
So it's
75.
$75 for
Okay.
30 days.
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
No, it's not $75
No.
for 30 days. The 30 days is, 200. The 7 day is $75 for 7 days.
Okay, where is that,
And that's on
3.4? So everybody can see. Do we have it? No, we don't have it today. $75 for 7 days and $200 for 30 days.
All right.
Okay,
See that?
so
Oh, boy.
Commissioner Toby, your turn.
Yeah, it's about Commissioner Lumpkins. He said remove the words, but can we leave the word drinking? Because food vendors will probably serve a can of something. Can we leave the word drinking, but remove the others?
I mean, I think it's sure, but I think it's a food truck or a push cart. I think it's common knowledge that they sell drinks as well.
Right.
You know, I mean, if we want to get that specific,
I don't want them to feel the wrath of someone because they're serving a drink and they say, well, it doesn't say drink on here. So I just want to clarify it, that's all.
So did we,
Second, Commissioner Velez, we did not vote.
Commissioner Bill is second that. Is still Commissioner Lumpkins' motion to go and make any, if he wants to reconsider and make the drink part of it.
He said yes.
Yes, sir?
Sure. Yeah, right.
Okay, so it's good.
Right. I just want to be clear,
Yeah,
you know.
the city's enforcing it, so, I mean, I don't think we're gonna go after people for drinks, but that's fine.
I guess amendment to say prepare food and drinks.
It's understood if you come with beverage.
With your,
Okay.
Well, when I was talking about the price, I did see a hand out.
Yeah, I saw Mrs. Hausman raise her hand. She brought it down real fast. If you would like to come in.
Hold, Mr. Mayor.
Hold on.
You deal with first before you go to the price, deal with, Commissioner Lumpkin's amendment,
Right,
and then you go to price.
okay.
So you got a
Because
motion and a second.
Yeah.
We have a motion and second.
We have a motion and second to do what? To
Remove
To
the words.
remove everything except for food and drink.
Drink.
Okay.
I would like to keep fruit on there. The reason why, when I've been Durham, Charlotte, working in these places, there's people that actually got push carts that they sell, fruit cups, you know, where they have actual fruit and they chop up fruit for you and they sell them out of like these cups. And
I think that may be under the definition of food.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Right.
good.
Yeah, I think, I don't want to legislate this to death. I think food and drink is fine. It covers everything.
Yeah.
thank you, sir.
I think that covers food.
So we have a motion and we have a second. We had a discussion. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to make the correction in 3.5. So now we go back to the original, which,
You gonna let Ms. Hausman say something about cost?
yes, ma'am, please come forward.
As far as cost for the permit goes, I appreciate that the price of the permit hasn't gone up while we're considering this. My original proposal was a lower cost, and whether you choose a lower cost or you stick with 75 is fine with me today. But in reference to the presentation that many of us were at recently for Strong Towns, as we're thinking about lowering the barriers for businesses to come and operate within Oxford's city, I would think that lowering the price of a permit would be beneficial. On a good day, when we were out for lunch for 4 to 5 hours, I might have made like $500, but a lot of times I'm looking at $250 to $300. So if you put in there, and I know that you guys have set a time limit for 7 days, like 7 or whatever. Most people who are looking for these permits aren't doing 7 days. We're doing a much shorter amount of time because the whole point is to be mobile and move around. So if you're thinking about some of how that might work, I would consider a lower one and making it easier for people to come in and easier for people to do business. While you might lose out a little bit on that permit fee, we're gaining it back and people being out in downtown, walking around out of their cars, and more likely to invest money in other places in Oxford. So that is my only suggestion as you consider payment.
Thank you, Ms. Hausman. As we discussed in the few meetings we had on this, we wanted to get it going, and we can always come back and make amendments and make changes as required for this ordinance. So, do we want to wrestle with the cost of food permits, or we want to approve it? And if we need to adjust it on a later date, come back and adjust it.
Yeah. Let's get it through.
So we have a motion.
Well,
We don't have any motion.
We don't have a motion right now.
I'm just curious, did we compare other municipalities who have this kind of ordinance, and is that about the price that they were charging for permits? I mean, I'm wondering, do we look into what we should charge for the permits? And would that be comparable to other municipalities? Because I think the point about getting this thing moving and strong, the price of the permit could cause some folks to maybe
I got one for them.
delay in wanting to participate. I'm just wondering where we got that $7.
I did not look at 75. I'm not sure if Ms. Hart did, but I know Durham has something like 6 different ordinances. And food trucks they have different varieties. So obviously their economy is a more robust and more moving economy than ours. And I think that's why we said we'll come back and adjust it. If we see that the vendors cannot afford it, we can always come back and say, okay, guys, let's look at this again and adjust it down.
But
Up or down, depends on where it's going.
Yeah.
So we don't have a motion to approve.
Can I have Mrs. Hart address that?
Yes,
Well, that was my recommendation based on our discussion from the.
Thank you.
planning board. But again, we can revisit, it's not the highest, it's not the lowest, it's mid-range.
thank you.
Okay.
All right. So now, staff recommends approval.
Make a motion, we approve the,
Motion by Commissioner Toby to approve. We got a second by Commissioner Thomas. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Took a long time to move this thing. All right. We are now
4.4.
consider approving the condemnation resolution. I think staff recommends approving the condemnation resolution. And then we have a little explanation on that, or we just want
As I mentioned to you at the agenda meeting, we have a sewer rehabilitation project known as Phase 5. It's scattered through many places throughout the city. It's not just one area. This is part of some ARPA funding that has to be expended by the end of December next year. Part of that project is to get some easements to go back and rehab lines that are existing, and we're going back in the same spot. So we're not condemning any property to put anything new. But for whatever reason, we don't have easements on the locations that you have in your packet, whether they're either never gotten or they're no longer there. We don't know. Now we intend to get the easement signed. We'll make multiple attempts to communicate with folks, but sometimes it's hard to do that if they're not property owners that live here. They may live in another state, and then hard to track down. So, but in order to have federal funding, we got to have the ability to have control of the property through this construction easement, and that's what this is, a condemnation for a construction easement. So it's not going to be like we're going to take over the property and own it. It's just going to be for us to have the ability to get up there, in this case, rehab it. And if something were to happen, to repair it. It's pretty much a common sense thing, but it is a requirement to start the condemnation process now. With this vote, you are required to approve it by law. And then as we get closer to time, if we can't get the easement signed, then we'll let you go through the condemnation.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. I'm glad I just clarified the point that needed to be clarified. This is the last option, basically.
Yeah.
Our option is to have the owner grant us permission to go in and replace the water sewer line, whatever it needs to replace. And if we can't get the proper signature, then we go to condemnation. Because you're right, we have so many owners here, we have properties that you can't reach owners. And I know we've tried for many, at least the 2 years I've been here for a lot of owners, and we can't. So this allows us to condemn it, go and replace, not the prop, not the house. Let me make it clear, not the house. We just want to get in there, replace the main lines, which runs in the property, and we'll restore it to what its original conditions, right? Is that clear for everyone? So with that,
We need a motion.
that's what I'm saying.
I make a motion.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem, second by Commissioner Bridges. Any further discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Fine. Consent agenda. 5.1, approve the September minutes. 5.2, accept the August 2025 financial report. Item 5.3, award retired Sergeant James Jones his service weapon, the clock model 25 Gen 4 serial number PTA 831 departmental badge in accordance with the Code of Ordinance Amendment 7-11. 5.4, approve the attached budget transfer for enterprise leasing.
1, 4, 5.
Item 5.5, approve the attached budget transfer for building maintenance. The enterprise leasing is that involved with vehicles and all that stuff that we doing, right? Okay. So with that, is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Toby. That's a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Brooks. Okay, and no discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so before we go to the final part, we start as we normally make rounds. We start with Commissioner Bellis.
I'd just like to say, thank you to everyone who came out last week to support the Shriners on their fish fry fundraiser. We had a lot of Oxford show up and surrounding areas to come and support. And a lot of people don't understand how important it is because a lot of this money that's raised, well, all of this money that's raised is actually donated to the Shriners Children's Hospital, the closest one to us in South Carolina. So a lot of people came out and supported, and I just want to give thanks to that. And we had the Masonic homecoming this past weekend. It's always a beautiful thing to have people come out and support the kids. A lot of those kids, well, all those kids look forward to it every year. Just to have the Shriners come out with the clowns, the cars, the different go-karts and everything. We even had a guy show up with a truck full of dinosaurs, you know, and the kids, they love it. And then you got some of the best barbecue that's set up out there, and the money that's collected from that also helps the Masonic home. So I just want to give thanks to the communities that came out to support those two separate entities this past week.
Commissioner Lumpkins.
Nothing at this time.
Commissioner Brooks.
Yes, I wanted to extend a humongous shout out to the staff of the city of Oxford. I was on the street the Sunday after the Hot Sauce Festival, and I didn't see one piece of paper out of place. I was thoroughly impressed because I saw the amount of people that were there Friday and Saturday. And for the city to look like nothing had happened, I salute them because I'm sure that was a humongous undertaking on their part. And I understand that the city will be giving them a celebratory luncheon. So thank you for that. And they can't be applauded enough because that was, I mean, just it was just great to see the city in the condition. It was in pristine condition, in my opinion, from after the Hot Sauce Festival. I attended along with the mayor and a few county commissioners the Boys and Girls Club breakfast, their fundraising breakfast, and that was it's a very worthy cause. And if you haven't visited the Boys and Girls Club, I strongly suggest you do and see the great work that they're doing. But I also suggest that you become a volunteer. You'd be surprised at what 60 minutes of your time can do for a child or a lot of children down there. And they have a lot of different activities. So I'm sure there's something that we all can find that we can do down there. And yes, I am a registered volunteer, so I'm putting my time where my mouth is. Lastly, last week, Webb celebrated his homecoming, and I'm a board member of the Webb Warrior Alumni Foundation. And we were able to bring, on a Wednesday, during our bar crawl, about 150 people to downtown Oxford, Webb graduates and people from the surrounding areas. And that was very successful as it was last year, and it's continuing to grow. But over the weekend, we raised about $17,000, a little under $17,000 towards our $25,000 commitment this year, our goal of $25K. So we're still fundraising, but we give money annually to our local kids, and that's one of the best investments of my time. I'm exhausted afterwards, but it's well worth it. So I'm glad that we are moving in a positive direction in our city, and continue to pray for all of us and continue to pray for the growth and success of Oxford, North Carolina.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner McCray.
Thanks, Mayor. First, good evening to everyone. On the theme of the Hot Sauce Festival, phenomenal job for everyone involved from top to bottom. Folks are still talking about that. And again, your efforts from the planning to actual implementation to public safety, everything from start to finish was phenomenal. So again, everyone involved in that, a huge thank you for what you do. I would encourage each and every one of us, as been mentioned, to get involved in all things Oxford. What I mean by that is, Commissioner Brooks mentioned the Boys and Girls Club. There's so many things that actually Oxford is offering now where we can be a part of, probably more so now than we ever have before. So I would ask that, us collectively continue to get involved. I truly believe the ultimate goal is to make Oxford the best that it can be. And I believe that in my heart of hearts. And again, I just ask that we continue to try to unite as much as possible in our efforts. And again, in making Oxford the best that it can be. Thank you. And thank you guys for coming out and sacrificing your time again this evening.
Our subject student attorney would like to say something.
I'll just say that when I was the commissioner, we never had a meeting this short. I'm impressed.
You're welcome. Well, we can extend it. Mr. Taylor.
That's amazing, but it
Mr. Toby.
Just a couple of things. Again, I mean, everything that's been said about the hot sauce. It was great to see the city clean up so much. A couple of things. We're always asking for money or for donations or something like that. But I want to ask the commissioners, please, and the city, think about the classic car show that we used to have downtown. Let's bring it back to Oxford. It's it's a great event. It brings people downtown. Let's think about it again. Bring the classic cars back.
We never stopped it.
We have actually.
We never stopped it.
Well, someone did.
No, we never stopped it.
And if Orange Street Community Centre have got a fundraiser this weekend as well. So if you're thinking about donating something, please, Orange Street Community Centre. If you can do that. They're always in need of money, as we are. And that's all, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, you took one of my notes.
Well, good.
Okay. Commissioner Bridges.
Yeah, Chance, I remember when you were on the board. and you're right. We had some long meetings back then. What I would say is you know, as I talk with people, you know, sometimes I'll hear from folks that, you know, y'all are spending a lot of money on, you know, making Oxford look good. You know, with the lights on the trees and you know, and how beautiful it is to drive into Oxford at night. And, you know, I'm curious, you know, when we're cleaning streets and Oxford is so appealing when you know, because I can remember a time when Oxford wasn't so pretty and it wasn't so inviting. So I'm glad that we as a board um, are doing things to make Oxford more attractive. And you know, folks can say what they want to say. Hot Sauce Festival is second to none in the state of North Carolina. Second to none.
That's right.
I've been to a lot of festivals. I've been, you know, different places with my family. Hot Sauce is right there. And folks sometimes don't want to give us credit for that and credit for the hard work that our manager and staff do to get that thing off. And you know, I think the comment about how clean it was shortly thereafter, that's a good point. That not only did our staff do a great job in getting it up and running, but we did things to get Oxford back to normal after the festival. That's good stuff, y'all. You know, I'm you know, I feel like I got wax on my body, and I'm repelling all the negative stuff that folks try to say about Oxford. We are doing some good stuff, and y'all need to give us credit for the good stuff we do.
Thank you, sir.
Wow.
Mayor Pro Tem.
I don't think I can follow that. We do get kicked a lot.
Yeah, we do.
But at least when people are kicking us, it means that they're recognizing us. They're watching. They're paying attention. Most of the time they pick out the negative. But there's a lot of positive that has gone on this board in my years of being on this board. The city of Oxford has come a long ways. And to compliment our cleanup crew, they not only clean up after the hot sauce, but anything that's happening downtown Oxford, go check it out the next day. Sometimes you can check it out that night, late that night. They are diligent about getting it back in order. And hat goes off to those men that get out there to get up our trash. They should be really, really recognized. To the mayor and all, I'm sorry I missed the Boys and Girls Breakfast this year. I had conflicting engagements, but I know you all enjoyed. To all employees that are employed by the city of Oxford, we don't say it enough. Thank you. You are appreciated. Every person that works for the city of Oxford could apply to the city of Durham or neighboring municipalities and probably make more than they are making if they wanted to put up with the ride. Thank you for staying here and sticking with the city of Oxford. That's it.
That's it.
Even though I'm always forget. Y'all recognize tonight how he easily wanted to overlook the army.
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, before you say your final words, there's something that I forgot. Didn't mean to forget, but I want to honor you right now. I had the honor of going with our mayor. He was honored by the Latino Caucus of North Carolina as the elected official of the year. And I witnessed him get that award. And he's done a tremendous job as our mayor. And I'd like to give him a round of applause.
Not name, not right.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much,
Real
Commissioner
quick.
Velez. Mr. Brooks.
I'd be remiss if you gave such a warm appreciation of our fire chief, but I went and talked with our fire chief a couple of times, and his knowledge is beyond impressive. He is a machine when it comes to fire safety, fire everything. And it can't be said enough that if something breaks, they can repair it in the field if it breaks. Everybody there is knowledgeable of all of the equipment that they have. That's unheard of. I had never heard of that before. And it does save a lot of money because you don't have to call somebody when something breaks. And you know it would cost more if something breaks during an incident, if you could even get them out there. But I was very impressed. It's very clean in there. There's not a hose that's out of place. You're not going to trip on anything. It's almost OCD level, the way that they have it in there. But Chief, I appreciate your attitude. I appreciate your dedication. And you live, eat, breathe, and sleep fire and all things fire. So I salute you for that and thank you for your dedication. We are blessed to have you as our fire chief in the city. So thank you for all you do. You and your staff for all you do. Thank you.
That's outstanding leadership. That's a leader that his men don't mind following.
Man.
That's
There's 3 people in this room with the title of chief. And they know what I'm talking about. You got a police chief, you got a fire chief, and you got a Navy chief.
A what?
A Navy chief. Keep that in mind. All right, let me go to my spell now.
You want
Boys and Girls Club. The city finally gave contributions to Boys and Girls Club, thanks to the mayor pro tem. I remember you lobbying for that. And I think we gave them some money.
Yeah, because I was embarrassed to be a member of the Board of Commissioners, sitting there listening at them read off the contributors, and they right in the center of Oxford, and Oxford's name wasn't mentioned not one time. That was embarrassing. So I came back and let the board know that I didn't like being embarrassed.
That's right.
So they gave up the money. But I entered to a worthy cause, to a most worthy cause.
That was true.
Yeah.
It is true. We talk about lights. We talk about lights downtown, but we're not looking at the lights out in the areas that we added lights to, where there was neglected from lights. Some streets down Graball, some streets down West Oxford, they now have lights. So we're not looking at the beautification lights. We're looking at where needed, where the lights are needed in the city. My next item was car show. John mentioned car show. When I came in office 2 years ago, there was a problem about the car show, and it was all surrounded with a porta potty. I think that was the biggest issue. And I got with the DODC, because that's the DODC event that they were hosting it, and I got with Mr. Pierre, and we resolved that issue. And we have made numerous attempts. I made numerous attempts. I had some of the first meetings I had when I came in his office, the guys were doing the cruising, and those guys, the guy in charge of it. And we had numerous attempts. And he said, we are going to the Gap for this one time, but we're coming back. And every time we try to get them back, it was an excuse. They didn't want to come back. I think one meeting we asked you to be a liaison with them, and nobody's kicked them out because they did not want to come back. So they're open. The doors are open for them to come back. As a matter of fact, we're working on something, and we like them to be part of it when it comes to our shows. I'm going to touch a subject, and we all bounced around, but I'm going to touch it. I saw a post on Facebook by a citizen who said the police roof collapsed. That's a very irresponsible post. The police roof did not collapse. I was there. I looked at it. I walked with the chief, and I walked with the staff, and the city manager. The roof is getting repaired. The type of roofing they put on that police station is one of the best It's one of the best roof system that's going on there. The only way that roof system will leak again is someone goes up there with a knife and cut that membrane. Or if the guy's working on the equipment up there, it's got to be a heavy equipment to fall and puncture that. So by coming up with a statement and blasting all over the city that the roof collapsed on the police station, Jesus, I don't know. That's very irresponsible act. Veterans meeting, we have a veterans organization will meet October 25 at the Days Inn at 9 a.m. All veterans are welcome to attend. We're trying to get organized.
Y'all seeing that? Now you realize.
See, I'm gonna have a personal invite to the mayor pro tem because she can come there. Okay, so and all the other things that we're doing in the city. I know we had beat up on, but we keep going. We're not going shake at the knees and step aside because somebody's talking nonsense out there and not talking the truth. So I asked them, if you want to find out something, come to the city. It's open. Don't text the commissioners. Ask them for a meeting. You know, the commissioners, they're texting me. No, don't do that. Come and ask us. Talk to us. Walk into City Hall. Ask for a conversation. Talk to the city manager. Ask me. I may know something, you know? So don't go out there making these false statements because in the end, it looks bad on you, not on us. Because if nobody can go in the police department and say, the roof caved in here, then why are you making that statement? Okay? So anyhow, it was a very successful Boys and Girls Club. John beat me in the community fundraiser if I didn't say it. Mayor Rogers was going to beat up on me, but I said it now, even though he did it. So I'm done. Is there anything else we want to prolong and break chances on our record and go a little longer than he wants to be?
The location of the veterans meeting.
Veterans meeting is at 9 a.m. at the Days Inn, inside the Savory Restaurant. Okay?
If anybody wants to attend the Hatcher's Creek, please let me know early tomorrow so I can get your RSVP.
Right, we'll take care of that. Okay. All right, with that said,
I make a motion to adjourn.
motion by Mayor Pro Temp, motion by the substitute attorney, a second by the substitute attorney to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.
I'm